What's going on, YouTube? You know who it is. Back again. With some more videos. Or another video. Or whatever. 9 videos that were deemed too scary. So we gotta watch that one right now. I just got some buffalo chicken. Had some, grape drink. And now I am ready to throw that shit up if I get scared again. So, let me see if I can switch this over. I'm going to switch this over. Boom. There you go. So, 9 videos that were deemed too scary. Let's check it out.
Warning, before we get into these videos, just know they have been deemed too scary, so I don't think you can handle them all. Number 9. A Reddit user known as Spooky Boy published a video to the subreddit Humanoid Encounters of something that terrified him while walking late at night in his city. He has no idea what it could possibly be, but is hoping that somebody that watches it will be able to come.
What is that monstrous thing in the background? That's what I kind of want to know. Like, there's some monolithic thing. It looks like a crane, and then he's in some hilly ass place. I wonder what that is.
Come up with any sort of concrete answer, and so it may be hard.
Bridge? Something, maybe?
Hard to see, but I just want you to focus your attention on this thing that's just sort of floating in the distance. And it just appears to be somebody floating in midair, and not just floating, but just moving at quite a fast rate of speed as well.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, it looks like it's somebody, because they're keeping their hands down to their sides and their legs like in and shit. So I don't really see it's somebody. It might be like a spherical object kind of thing, like a tube, but yet again, why is it fucking floating?
That's just super, super bizarre. I'm also interested as to what this thing is also in the distance.
Right? That was me too.
But that does very clearly look like the shape of a person just sort of floating off in the distance. It's just super, super bizarre. This is, without a doubt, one of the most interesting and unexplainable videos that I have seen in quite some time. Virtually everything about the way this thing is shaped looks exactly like a human, but
like it almost looks like it's carried by a string, and it's just like you can't see the string, but it's been going slowly because it's like going and it kind of going and then.
Obviously, humans can't just float around like that. Some commenters suggest it could be something attached to a drone, which would be a lot more comforting.
Strong ass drone, but yeah.
Number 8. Moxley from the YouTube channel Moxley's Adventures is exploring a haunted graveyard at night, all by himself on a cold November evening. The graveyard,
all by himself on a cold November,
while absolutely creepy and uneasy to watch, is scattered with plenty of lush bushes and trees, but there is also another sight to see that night, albeit
thought I saw red.
A sight that Moxley probably wished he could unsee.
Seen something over there. If it's just somebody walking past, but it is raised up about 10 foot. So all the way around the outside, it's about 10 foot high. And the gate was open, so not had to climb over any fences, any walls. I suppose it's just okay just to walk straight through this place. So I'm just gonna go and have a quick look around and see if I can see anything. What the is that? Hello?
Oh, do you guys see that? Alright, right here on the replay. Right there, you can see someone or something just kind of moving past the tree line here.
Guys, I do not know if I just captured that on film, but I swear to you, I just saw something behind this gravestone. I'm not 100% sure though if there was. Oh, it's just so dense. There's nothing.
And I think he has a really good point there, just how dense of an area this is in terms of vegetation, that it just wouldn't be easy for someone to be kind of slipping in and out of this area. And he does try to get, if it is somebody, their attention, and they don't seem to respond at all, but rather just keep sort of walking away there. A lot of people in the comments section of Moxley's video seem to agree that whatever it was he captured, that it's definitely creepy, although none of them are able to explain what exactly he saw while in the cemetery that night. He continues to explore the area for a little while longer, but eventually leaves when he can't find anything else. It's just a good thing that he didn't bump into that strange figure later on, because who knows how dangerous it could have been. Number...
I don't know about that. It was pretty dense there, so I don't know. Tell me what you think.
7. The team behind Devil's Hour Productions are getting their equipment set up for the day to conduct an investigation at a haunted house located in Kento, Ohio, while waiting for the
It looked like Ohio.
owner and having conversations with another. They already experienced something creepy without them even trying to make contact with any spirits.
I turned my airplane mode back.
Oh, to see if your phone interferes with the...
Yeah, because what you heard was going to be captured on there.
Right there. I just need you to focus on these window shutters. They might be sort of hard to see, but just keep your eyes on them. Right there, they close.
Well, they open back up.
It gets all their attention.
Was that you, Tanya?
No, it was over here.
Oh.
It was that. There.
That fucking guy that's in the room don't even fucking care. He don't even look. He's texting his girlfriend and shit.
It's almost like whatever is haunting this home knows that they're all just sort of hanging out right outside this room, as it so clearly gets their attention. As you can probably expect,
Not everyone.
This incident causes the entire crew to be a little freaked out, and one of the men asks the other if he maybe closed it, but he denies doing so. And if you look at the footage, you can see that it definitely closed without anybody touching it. At least, not anybody that we could see with our own eyes. Number 6. One of the most bizarre and goosebump-inducing videos on the internet is simply titled My Sister. The video starts off fairly simple, with a woman standing off in the distance, and it looks like it will be just some sort of fashion video or something. But as soon as the woman gets a little bit closer to the camera, it quickly turns from innocent to terrifying. So as you can see right here, this person is wearing a hyper-realistic mask, so this isn't actually her face. And here we'll see her take off this mask right here. This is creepy how hyper-realistic that mask is. It almost feels like if you just saw this person in public, you'd have no idea that this wasn't their actual face at all, but rather just a complete mask. Just super, super bizarre. As you can probably imagine, this video got some pretty good traction on the platform for a while, especially within the horror community, mainly because people were so freaked out by it and equally curious as to what exactly was going on. As it turns out, the woman is simply wearing hyper-realistic masks that she made, but there is something about them that has creeped people out ever since seeing the video. At least now we have a concrete explanation, even if it doesn't make the original video any less scary. Number 5.
Her face is generally fucking scary. I don't get it because in one she looked like she's pregnant too.
5. Leviathan is a small YouTube channel that
Leviathan
only
or
has
Leviathan?
3 videos uploaded as of the
Levi.
publishing of
Yeah,
this
Leviathan.
video. The latest one was uploaded just over a year ago, so it's hard to say if he will ever return to the platform, especially after watching his most recent upload. In it, he is walking around through the woods, but these are no ordinary woods, as he will soon find out. Alright, so for starters, he's walking alone in the woods, it appears, late at night, only a flashlight. And I don't know if you guys could hear that scream. There it is again, certainly creepy.
This dude is Resident Eviling through the forest with a spotty ass fucking light. Well, hold on. He has one, it's probably like a headlamp. And then another actual good light I can see for fucking miles. And that one's like randomly broken. And he's walking towards, I don't know, 2 Pomeranians fucking. I was gonna say fucking fighting, but 2 Pomeranians fucking. That might be it too.
Right there. One sec, I'm gonna rewind just a tad. Do you guys see it right there? There's something clearly in the tree. Wow, I would run away too. Whatever this creature is, it's clearly hanging about halfway off the tree here. And I feel like if that was a person, this would just be a very difficult way to hold on to a tree, because it seems like the creature is almost leaning with its body weight off into the air here and just using its arms and legs to stay on this tree. And the noise it makes, let's play that one more time. Freaky stuff. Unfortunately, this video ends right there shortly after this mysterious creature is captured by Leviathan on his camera. Because this video was uploaded to his YouTube channel, I think it is safe to say that he made it out of the woods alive that day, but maybe after this terrifying encounter.
He probably uploaded it as he was leaving, and that was the last time they saw him. He's uploading it live, done, and he was never seen from again.
He is too scared to make any more videos like this, hence his absence. And if that's the case, I honestly don't blame him. Number 4. The Urban Project is a group of paranormal investigators on YouTube that frequently uploads videos of themselves exploring notoriously creepy buildings such as abandoned churches, hospitals, and more. However, in one video, one of the crew members decides to do a solo investigation of the Ivy House, yet another infamously creepy building. All seems to be doing fine for the first little while as he starts to explore the upstairs area of the house, but maybe it would have been better if the explorer brought some company, as you'll soon see.
This is an old wardrobe, this. Definitely not from IKEA, that. I'm not popping it up there because of giant spider webs. That's an old bed as well.
I thought I saw something upstairs.
Oh,
Right there. That was freaky. One more time.
hello?
It's upstairs.
That's an old bed as well. Oh,
Watch. It's up there. It's up there. It's in the attic. That white shit right
I'm
there?
not popping it up there because of giant spider webs. That's an old bed as well. Oh,
Right there. That was freaky. One more time.
hello? That's an old
there's just nothing there. That definitely sounds like that was quite the banging noise there, like something heavy had been dropped or thrown.
And that is an old bed as well.
Nah.
And what's also freaky about this is it really seems like that noise came from close by, but clearly there's nobody else in this building. The uploader proceeds to have a quick look in the surrounding rooms, but is unable to find anything whatsoever. After not being able to find anything, he eventually decides to call it a day and head home. And I honestly can't blame him. Since the Ivy House is well known for being extremely creepy, it may have been only a matter of minutes until something much more serious happened to this YouTuber. Number 3. Two friends that run a paranormal YouTube channel are exploring an extremely haunted abandoned building in the hopes of potentially capturing something terrifying on camera for their viewers to witness. All they are able to find is a bunch of rubble and debris from the worn down state of the building at first, but when one of the men sets up a device to communicate with potential spirits in the area, things get a lot scarier.
Hello, someone there? Can we help you? Come and touch this thing in my hands. Have 2 objects for you to touch. If you want help, come over and communicate with me.
You hear that?
What's up?
Did you guys see it?
Don't know what that was.
Alright, I want you to focus right here, and I'm gonna play that back.
What's up?
Right there. One more time. Just focus your eyes right here.
What's up?
And right there you can see someone
Don't know what that
moving.
was.
Hello, someone here with us?
Nah.
Turn it off, see if you can hear anything.
It was like a shadow, but I don't know.
That is so freaky. You see the shadow start about here and then walk to the other side. It's
Yeah,
very,
it's-
very subtle, but when you
started,
see it,
like, right
it's
here,
very
walks,
clearly the silhouette of somebody walking across in the background here, even though it's only this man and the cameraman at this abandoned building.
Nah.
Right there. That is just so terrible. First viewing, you may have only picked up on the mysterious banging sound coming from somewhere inside the building, but if you look closely, right after the banging sound can be heard, you see what appears to be either one the footage at home. Number 2. Walking inside and around an abandoned building, especially at night, would be a terrifying thing for anybody to do, but oftentimes when an explorer does this, they don't expect to see something that is going to cause them to freeze up in pure and utter shock. But that's exactly what happened to this YouTuber, Franco TV, in September of 2019. During one section of his exploration, he turns a corner and sees something chilling.
Okay, so what I think is there's somebody actually here visiting, and I think when I came around through the loop area, they might have walked away because I might have freaked them out a little bit. But, wait. Oops. Oh my God. She's right there.
So clearly he's not alone here. There's somebody else in this graveyard with him.
It's an old lady. Hello? Ma'am. Do you need help? Do you need help? Yeah. Not doing that.
That is just extremely bizarre. I feel like if this is just somebody, visiting a loved one at the graveyard, that's totally fine. And I'm sure this woman would be sort of concerned just seeing like a complete stranger with, full.
She should have said something. Like, you can't just be creeping out in the middle of the graveyard and, I don't know, full body dress outfit with her hair. I don't know, it's almost like her hair was did and her her clothes are the same thing.
Film equipment recording at a graveyard, but at the same time it's very bizarre that she doesn't respond at all to his questions.
Ma'am,
That's what I'm saying.
do you need help?
And just sort of stares at him numerous times. And I can completely understand Franco's concerns, considering this is very clearly in the middle of the night. Just a very odd encounter, to say the least, on both ends. Despite his numerous attempts at getting the woman to talk to him, she simply continues to stare at the camera.
If I was that old lady and I was just doing this to fuck with him, I would have got up and went around the other side and did the same exact shit. That would have been a good one.
In the man's eyes for a solid 10 seconds, he asks her if she needs any help with anything and why she is sitting all alone like that in the middle of the night, but strangely she ignores him. It's entirely possible that this individual sadly suffers from some sort of condition, and if that's the case, I truly hope she gets the assistance she needs. I've got a challenge.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who go to the graveyard at night, so that's some crazy shit. Crazy shit. Let's back this up.
Despite
Oh, nope.
gets the
Nope.
seemingly
Wow.
is a number one.
Wow.
Shershin is a well-known radio host in the local Durban, South Africa area. He is used to going into his studio every single day and doing his daily show, but on one particular morning, Shershin seemingly got an unexpected visitor in the studio with him that day, one that was certainly not invited. So Shershin is the radio host, and he's clearly in his room at, the building where they broadcast this radio show. But what I want you to do is pay attention to this window right here. And so Shershin appears to be on a phone call. And right there just passes
Who was that motherfucker?
by the window. I just need to remind you that Shershin is the only person in this building. Right there. One more time. It clearly gets his attention as he goes to check out the window, and I believe he doesn't even choose to leave the room. He's like, I'm not dealing with this today. It's absolutely freaky stuff. What makes this video seem quite authentic to me is, firstly, the lights in the building go off completely, which causes Shershin to start dialing a number, probably the lighting department in the studio.
If the lights are out, how are the computer monitors running? Like, there's a lot of shit out, but some shit's on backup.
To ask what happened, he stands up, and a moment later, the strange
Dude in the cloak cuts his power so I can get the fuck out of there. That's what it is.
shadow figure can be seen moving past the window, which Shershin sees, and it seems by his body language that he was definitely creeped out by the incident, This ghostly figure seemingly turned off all the lights in the studio with his presence alone, which just goes to show how powerful some ghosts can be. If horror is your favorite genre,
Turns off the lights, being a ghost. I don't know. But what I do know is today, since there's 9, we're going to go for a double. Hopefully this doesn't resize everything and mess everything up.
the following videos
But yeah, everything's working. Cool. So we shall continue.
are so scary that I don't think you can handle all of them. Number 5. A YouTuber named Wokun Cha is on a mission to explore the most haunted places in Pakistan faster than anyone in the history of ghost hunting. Since August of 2019,
It's a race now.
he has investigated no less than 60 paranormal locations, but for time's sake, let's focus on these top 3 scariest ones. In September of 2019, he travels to a house possessed by demonic desert spirits called jinns. He takes a single step in the first room and already feels a cold presence warning him to stay away. Then the door across the room closes so slowly you have to watch the shine of his camera light to see it. When he fearlessly takes a few steps forward, a ghostly white arm reaches for the knob to shut it the rest of the way, at which point his flashlight turns itself off. The same door clatter loses again behind him. Someone's on the other side, but whether it's a ghost or a member of his crew is what I want to know. Also, what is he saying here to provoke such an angry response?
यहाँ कोई मौजूद है क्या अपने होने का सबूत दे सकते हैं अल्लाह अकबर
Nobody is on the other side of the door, at least no one that I can see, though I suppose someone could be ducking under the camera here to make it look that way. But that's when he sees it, the thing responsible for closing the door, a white apparition who glides away without a word. It's creepy for sure, but also questionable, because he sees the ghost and then enters the room looking the exact opposite way for some reason,
Right.
which makes me think that they could have digitally added the ghost later. Next, he hears something so eerie and insane that it almost has to be edited. Let me know if you think it's legit, because if so, then this is pretty much proof of the supernatural. Voices, perhaps children, whose lives the jinn has snuffed. The ghost hunter understandably seems reluctant to go any further, and perhaps senses a great danger is near. As it turns out, he's right. No one seems to be inside of this room, but as he timidly rounds the corner, I think I see this gray figure in a cloak standing on the other side. The jinn itself, it's blurry, yes, but something nonetheless seems to be looking straight at him. The top arrow is its face, and the bottom its outstretched hand, palm up. He flees then and there, but on February 2nd of 2020, returns to the home for another look. I think they might be saying that something is on the roof here, but I need your help to translate and make sure.
ये देखें आपके सामने
Apparently, whatever it is, it's now in the room with them, so they step outside. They take a short breather, but as soon as they're back inside, the trouble starts once again.
ये गिरा हुआ ये अचानक ही गिरा है नीचे
I'm pretty sure he's asking for confirmation of a ghost during this part, and soon he gets a response.
देखिए आप जो भी हैं मैं आपको नुकसान पहुंचाने यहाँ नहीं आया
At which point this chain on a nail begins to sway back and forth for well over 10 seconds completely on its own. Doors slam shut, but Wokun Cha is determined to go further than before, and eventually he comes across a bizarre straw hut that fills him with unexplainable dread. The earth looks recently disturbed. Anything could be buried beneath the rubble. He's contemplating the structure when the spirits become restless.
अस्तगफिरुल्लाह
Or maybe it's just a string tied to a tree. Either way, he seeks shelter in an area that's just as haunted as everywhere else, and soon he hears voices coming through the walls. At this point, you would think nothing could stop this fearless explorer. Doors slamming, groaning moans, and objects moving on their own aren't enough to make him leave, but the part that scares him the most is literally nothing at all. A presence that we can't see and only he can feel. Is this part real or just good acting?
अजीब सी कंडीशन है अल्लाह अकबर अस्तगफिरुल्लाह मुझे धक्का दिया किसी ने
He turns around and looks at the corner as if something had just brushed by. Whatever touched him leaves him too scared to re-enter. I've saved the creepiest one of all for last, a paranormal adventure that takes place on October 23rd, 2019. That's when Wokan Shah travels to a site full of unmarked burials. Many of them are child-sized. It's a calm night and crickets chirp as he says a few words that I would like translated because they sound very somber and sorrowful.
अल्लाह ताला की मेहरबानी से मैं बिखरी ऐसे हूँ
The stillness of the night is soon replaced by a rushing whisper that sounds lonely and paranormal, a rising cry of anguish possibly originating from the other side of life.
वो मुझे अस्तगफिरुल्लाह वो मुझे
As he reaches an old memorial, he hears another voice call out, a near laugh.
Animal. What's an animal? It's gotta be an animal.
And approximately 2 minutes later, the same voice laughing.
Hyena? I mean, I don't know if they're hyenas in India, but...
His nervous fear is overpowered by a morbid curiosity to stay and see who the voice belongs to.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
I was halfway expecting a hand to bust forth from the earth, but what happens next is just as frightening.
अल्लाह अकबर अस्तगफिरुल्लाह अस्तगफिरुल्लाह मेरे दोस्तों वो साया से मेरे दोस्तों वो
He checks around the side of the building and sees nothing. He's all alone again, just himself in the graves. I wish Wokan Shah all the best, but at the same time really hopes...
What happened there? Did he run away? Did he turn off the camera? It just... I see somebody walking in some white clothes. By the way, next shot, nothing happened.
He slows down to a safer rate of exploring. If he keeps this up, it's only a matter of time before something really bad happens to him. And at this rate, he might not even make it to his 100th video. Number 4. There's a YouTube channel called Happy Life that ironically explores some of the most miserably haunted places in all of Pakistan. Happy Life began as a spiritual advice channel, and now they hope to better understand the darker side of spirituality through paranormal investigations like this one. This time, the Happy Life crew intends to check out a haunted school where numerous students were said to have lost their lives. Early on, they encounter a poltergeist who is intent on chasing them away.
I love how that big dude in the thing just looks at it like, it's a bottle, dude. It's a bottle.
First encounter sounds like it's throwing plates, but then it graduates to a heavy bottle that could have really done them harm.
He's not even, he don't even care. He's like, it's a bottle. It's a bottle, dude. Doors
also repeatedly close as if something really doesn't want them to go any further. But the more I look at it, the more I think the cameraman is responsible for all of this rather than a ghost. The objects always just so happen to be thrown from the cameraman's direction. A strange coincidence. And the camera person always seems to be within arm's reach whenever the doors close. So I think he is either kicking it or else pushing it shut with his free hand. But when they get to the very top of the school, they find this mysterious mysterious red streak of dried up liquid overlooking the balcony. So even though parts of this video may have possibly been embellished, perhaps a student really did lose their life here after all. The situation only gets weirder when they come across a star in the hall that could have been used as a ritual, or simply drawn by them to make the video scarier. I think it could be real though, because look what happens soon after one of them kneels in the middle. The way it echoes down the hall sounds forcefully loud and possibly real. One of them explores a room, while the other records from outside the window. No one else is nearby, so then tell me who is responsible for what happens next. They decide the inside is too dangerous.
That guy is part black because he heard one knock and he was out of there. He said, "Fuck my friends, I'll meet you out front."
Dangerous to go any further and stick to the outer perimeter. Eventually, they come across a shallow well that gives off a residual negative energy that could be left over from a terrible and tragic event. Something compels them to climb.
And they climb down in the fucking well. Never mind, retract my statement. He's not black, he's stupid.
Inside, and sure enough the dirt has been freshly disturbed. An orb passes left to right over the small grave as he plucks this fragment of human and holds it to the camera. Number 3. Gary Reed Unfrequented World is the name of a YouTube channel that, at first glance, seems chock full of ordinary outdoor vlogs and entertainment. Gary goes on photography and metal detecting excursions, and generally enjoys hiking his large property in the northern Ontario wilderness, often accompanied by his loving family. But something threatens the tranquility of Gary Reed's Unfrequented World, a screaming cryptid deep in the woods that can twist trees in its powerful grasp. But more on that in a second. First, let me talk about Gary and why his observations matter more than the average YouTuber. Born in the small Ontario town of Redbridge, Gary Reed has been surrounded by woods his whole life. Aside from a lifetime of first-hand experience exploring the local lands, he also has a degree in environmental science and understands his surroundings on an advanced biological level. So when he says there's something out there that he can't explain, it probably means you or I can't either. His first encounter with it was at the age of 18 while staying in a cabin on Rabbit Lake.
Damn, Chills. You got some fucking background stories on this dude. He was like, grew up like, you know what college he went to, what he graduated with. How many speeding tickets does he got? What's his middle name? Are his parents still divorced or married? Shit like that. You got a background check.
October 19th, 1994. That's when he heard a scream that sounded like a woman, but not quite. He describes the second scream as a wail, crescendoing into a howl, like nothing he's heard before. It ran through the entire camp, screaming from one side to the other. Then it was gone. On April 30th, 2020, he heard it again.
That sucks. Can hear screaming.
It sounds almost human, but not quite.
Yes, this thing is still going on over here.
Here it is again with the audio turned up. I know foxes can make some weird noises, but this sounds like a person enraged. Camera in hand, he sneaks quietly towards the direction of the screaming to see what he can find. His trained eye detects a strange break in this tree, along with other trees that have been toppled over, all of them facing the same direction, like someone was running fast through the forest.
There's one there.
And next to the strange scene is a braided bunch that looks like something strong twisted it into this shape. Let me know if there is any other way for these branches to fuse together, if not by sheer force. The deeper he goes, the more it looks like something large has stomped through. Oddest of all are these large tracks left by what he suspects is a cryptid that walks upright.
Not mine.
It's clear to me that these are not your average boots.
Like toe prints in here. You can almost see the toes.
At 10 minutes and 25 seconds, he tries to trace an outline of its toes, but I think he's a little off. Here's where they begin in my opinion, much bigger. The next day he measured the results, and it reminds me of a certain cryptid with particularly big feet. I'm sure you know who I mean.
Shaq.
13¼ inches.
I think it's real, but just to throw out a counterpoint, I will say that rain from the day before could have eroded the snow and could have made an otherwise normal footstep seem much larger. Now let's switch over to some trail cams set up by Gary. This evidence, taken exactly a month earlier on March 3rd, is the most compelling of all. On March 7th, 4 days later, he and his neighbor hear another scream so shrill, it sounds like it belongs to a child. He hurries out the door and finds himself alone and vulnerable in the pitch black night.
I gotta turn the dish back on. I can hear whistling.
A pair of animal eyes look at him from behind, but I think it might just be the light reflecting off his glasses back into the camera. But I could be wrong, because when they check around the same area the next day, his dog becomes agitated and seems not to want to proceed any further. Something is definitely up ahead. Maybe they are getting close on its trail. Not that its trail is especially hard to find when it leaves a path of giant bent trees in its wake. Could nature have done this? Probably not. It looks like something huge reached up and pulled it down.
That's a pretty big one.
And half a minute later, he finds this tree with a branch literally twisted off and set back in place. This doesn't look like a normal break to me, because the tree looks rather healthy.
Yeah, it's about 8 feet. And it's got a good twist to it.
Here's another perfectly healthy tree with green leaves, this time ripped in half by something strong, or maybe simply struck by lightning. Either way, that doesn't explain what animal is responsible for doing this.
You can see the bark, and you can actually see lines. Well, those are tooth marks. See all those little lines are tooth marks.
I don't know what it is, but I know that anything that shreds trees while screaming is too dangerous for me to be in the same forest as. And that's only what's been going on for the past couple months. There's over a year's worth of cryptid content to uncover, so I encourage you to watch Gary Reed Unfrequented World and see for yourself. In the meantime, leave me your best guess as to what's doing this. Maybe we can crack one of the weirdest modern unsolved mysteries in all of Ontario. Number 2. A YouTuber named Seeking Legends has over 7 years worth of videos where he tracks down spirits and cryptids throughout the Las Vegas area and surrounding states. His subscribers know he doesn't play up his videos at all, and isn't afraid to say when he thinks a location has nothing abnormal to offer. This wasn't the case when he went to a haunted forest on February 16, 2018, in search of the infamous White Witch, the spirit of a woman who once hiked this area a lot with her family, and who was taken captive by unsavory locals. She escaped, but her family did not, and ever since then she has been roaming the woods looking for revenge. She cursed the land before taking her life in the very spot Cryptid Hunter stands now. He uses a paranormal dowsing rod, which is said to be able to tap into supernatural energy to better communicate with any nearby spirits. It isn't long before he finds one to speak with.
Can you point the rod to me? You see that I'm not moving this.
And I do mean speak with. There are no approaching footsteps, so it's not someone hiking, just eerie voices carrying over the water, just like the legends say, and the voices patiently wait until the command is complete before talking again.
Bend the rod in the opposite direction of me.
I don't think it's his nerves moving the rod, and his hand looks almost completely still to me, so maybe there's some truth to this piece of equipment after all.
If you were a victim of somebody in here, can you make my...
Your pinky, man. Your pinky can move it back and forth.
The rod spin, please.
You're supposed to hold them like this. Like, I don't know. I don't got one. My neighbor, Mr. Emery, my neighbor, Mr. Emery. He had that touch. He could find well water wherever he want. Just go back there with some things and hold them like this, and they'd go to it. He found them. He found one on my parents' place and found one on his. He could do it, and he was right. Yeah, but you don't hold it like that. You don't hold it like this. You hold it like that. So it doesn't. It's just your hand in there. You hold them pretty tight, but they're supposed to be loose. Now your pinky, so you can like adjust it.
Here is an even better close-up of his hand at 8 minutes and 30 seconds as the spirits continue
It's pinky, man.
to turn it around and around. None of his fingers are moving at all in the slightest. When asked for additional confirmation that the White Witch is here, two strange notes play. If you don't think this is paranormal, then tell me what you think would have made this noise in the middle of the forest. Soon he feels a presence guiding him and uses the rod to determine where to go next.
If this is where you want me to be, stop spinning the rod. Now. Where are you standing? Point the rod.
These instructions are further confirmed using his EMF meter, and at the end is a strange beeping noise coming from deeper in the woods that the EMF meter can't even make.
If this is where you wanted me to stand.
And just to prove it wasn't a coincidence, he easily gets it to respond again.
Can you do that again? Thank you.
There's no button on the meter for him to press to make it go up, supernatural or not. This was all the work of an external force of some kind. Every time he challenges the witch to move the meter, it does so without fail. Like here, for example, the timing is too much of a coincidence to be fake.
Unless you can make this device go on, then I'm not gonna believe that anything is here, haunting this area.
Apparently, it must have grown frustrated using the EMF meter over and over again, so it decides to answer his demands in a different way.
Make the lights go on. If you are the soul...
And before you say these are just lightning bugs, look again. They go from left to right one time, and then start over again in the exact same spot, so it's likely not an insect. It's getting dark soon, and the park closes, so Seeking Legends has to leave. Hopefully someday he returns to resume the conversation. But witch spirits aren't his only specialty. As mentioned before, Seeking Legends has experience hunting cryptids too. The desert cave is said to be plagued by skinwalkers, vicious tricksters of Native American legend who can assume a semi-human animal-like form. He isn't able to go down far because of breathing problems, but his worries start no sooner than the entrance when this glow stick, hung up as a marker to avoid getting lost, begins to sway in place all on its own. He's nowhere near where it begins to move, and maybe it's just me, but it looks like it's swinging even harder 3 minutes later, definitely not slowing down. Then outside of the cave, he hears what could be a Native American drum.
Listen, I hope the camera's catching that. Hello?
And with one hand on the camera and the other visible, the angle shows it couldn't have been him making the noise.
Please tell me you guys heard that.
I will admit that the drums are a little hard to hear, but this last part isn't. Try to tell me what this voice is saying, because it sounds like it might be a different language to me, perhaps even backwards. I'm interested to see if you think this is a skinwalker or voiceover editing. It sounds like it's coming from behind the camera to me, but I'm not sure. I've got it. I'm interested to see if... what this voice is saying, because it sounds like it might be a different language to me, perhaps even backwards.
Some. I don't know what that means.
I'm interested to see if you think this is a skinwalker or voiceover editing. It sounds like it's coming from behind the camera to me, but I'm not sure. I've got a challenge for you.
Alright, we'll skip his challenges for now.
Number 1. Years ago, I analyzed a video of a giant humanoid creature seen roaming the desert in Portugal. Well, new evidence of the creature is making fresh rounds on the internet, and this photograph supposedly shows what it eats, which unfortunately is us. A strong-looking man with a crew cut and fatigues is no match against this creature, as it pulls him towards its open maw. He is not wearing civilian clothing. If anything, his outfit matches those worn at the Special Ops base, where the original video was taken. All of the finer details of the creature seem to match as well. The dramatic bend of the back leg compared to the more developed upper arms, its cone-like head, its unnatural slouch are all there, and according to this picture, it's apparently a Cyclops creature as well. Of course, there's a good chance that this is photoshopped. If it was real, I think that there would be an accompanying video, or at least more than one picture. If anything, for the sake of the person about to be devoured, I really hope this isn't real. Siren Head sightings are being reported all over the world.
Siren Head. Siren Head. My kids think Siren Head is real. A 100-foot thing with sirens on its fucking head has not been seen till now. Anyways, what do you think? You like it, love it, hate you don't. On some of those, they're alright. Some of them kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking a lot of those are pretty fake. I'm not scared at all. Not even a little bit. Well, the one in the woods with the weird owl sounds like it was killing something was a little freaky. But the rest of them, they were just in houses with like scaring themselves, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I wouldn't do that shit though. I'm not scared, but there's no reason to do that shit. That's why we got other people to go figure that shit out and then post it on YouTube so I can watch it. Alrighty. Well, comment down below. Want to watch this? Want to watch something else? We can go whatever. Send me a comment with anything you want to watch or want me to react to or check out. And we'll go from there. Hopefully if I get the motivation, I'll make a Reddit and people can just post to that. So, alright. Peace out. See you again.